Hello and welcome back to another edition of Check It Out. Okay, friends, it is day 20 on my road to recovery after torn labral surgery on my left hip. So today's episode, I'm going to talk about crutches and give you a good tip. And also I'm going to talk about handicap passes. Should you get a handicap placard for your car or not? And also I'm going to talk a little bit about physical therapy. So we'll dive in here in just a second. If this is the first video you're seeing, hit subscribe, go check out the playlist, and I've got about 10 or 12 videos documenting this experience of mine all the way from, well, I think the first video is about 5 hours after my surgery. So keep in mind, I say documenting my experience, and I really do mean that. I'm not a doctor. I'm not in the medical field. This is not medical advice in any way whatsoever. So if you've got a surgery, something like that coming up, make sure you're listening to your doctor, and, well, you can just kind of listen to what I have to say as something that might kind of parallel your own experience, or at least you can have a general idea of what you might be in for. So crutches, I was using my crutches the other day, and actually I'll back up a step. So when I was going to have my surgery the day before, they asked if I wanted crutches, if I had some of my own. And I said, you know what, I do have some of my own because I fell on a skateboard 3 years ago, something like that. I knew I had the crutches. So I actually sat there for a minute and I was thinking, you know what, last time I used them a lot, it might be kind of worn out. So I asked them if I could go ahead and get a new pair, even though I did have some at home. I wasn't sure what kind of shape they were in. So I ended up getting that new pair, and I'm so glad that I did. So the first thing I did is I set aside my new pair of crutches, and I used my old crutches. And I was thinking that when I go back to work, well, I'll have my nice new shiny crutches. And so I'm using my old crutches, and I've been up and on my feet, well, on one foot and one foot with 20 pounds or less, and my crutches, but I have been going on my crutches all over the place. So I'm now driving again, taking the kids around, doing all kinds of stuff. So these crutches are getting their money's worth, if you know what I mean. So the other day I'm using my crutches, and I was on tile, and the crutch slipped out from underneath me. And I ended up having to put kind of extra pressure on that bad leg, and it was not good. And I chalked it up to there must be water on the tile right there, and I kind of just kept going real slow, and then it slipped out again. And finally I made it to a seat and realized that this is what happened. So the bottom of my crutch, this part kind of broke through here. So they are older. Again, I used them a few years ago. They've only been used for like 2 weeks, but again, it's been a couple years. So I'm not sure exactly if it's due to age. I'm a big guy. I'm pretty big. I'm pretty muscular. I weigh about 230 pounds, so that might be part of the problem too. And I'm really giving these crutches a run for their money. So, maybe all those three things combined is part of the problem. But anyway, so obviously I stopped using these. I went to the new crutches. There's what the bottom of the new crutch looks like. So nice and solid. And so anyway, my tip would be, boy, make sure you use those new crutches. If you have old ones, check the bottom of these things. Make sure they're in really good shape, because I'll tell you, I put that extra weight on my foot and on my leg, and I was not happy, and my leg was not happy. So get new crutches. Don't say no to them, even if you think you have them at home. That would be my advice. And make sure you set them up correctly, and all the bolts that are supposed to be tight, make sure they're tight, and double check these guys. And now I'm even double checking them on a regular basis. Like every day I check it out, make sure it's okay. Because if I want to see this thing popping through again, I want to catch it as soon as possible and make sure that I'm going to be safe on these things. All right, that's it for crutches. And then also I was going to tell you a little bit about going to physical therapy. Yesterday I went to physical therapy and I parked my car. I did not use my handicap placard. If you've been following this, you know I got one of those. But I just parked in a normal spot. There was no one parked next to me. It wasn't a big deal. I got back to my car and someone had parked, and they were in their parking spot, but they were kind of squashed over to my side. And it was really challenging to get in and out of my car. Well, at that point, just to get in my car. And honestly, it was just a pain in the neck. I felt like made it very challenging with crutches and not putting extra weight on my foot. So it was a great lesson for me that go ahead and use that handicap placard. So I got a temporary one. I only get it for like 8 weeks. But it's so nice, not just that you get to park closer. That's the only thing I had in mind. But the second thing that is really nice for is that no one's next to you. So you can open your door all the way. You don't have to worry about trying to squeeze in there and that kind of stuff. And you might have space next to a car when you go into physical therapy or shopping or whatever you're going to do. But who knows? That person could leave, somebody else come in a big truck, park close, and it was really challenging. So, second tip is I'm very glad that I got that Handicap placard, and I'm going to remind myself to keep using that thing. And I don't know, for some reason I kind of felt guilty about it, like maybe people need those spots more than I do, but at this point, and after having that experience, I'm going to go ahead and use those spots. All right, guys, so those are my 2 tips for today. Physical therapy, I was going to include you in on that too. So now that I've hit 3 weeks, or tomorrow I hit 3 weeks post-surgery, my physical therapy is going to go from 3 days a week, and then next week is 2 days, and then from there on out, we're going to go to 1 day a week. So they were able to do that for me. I'm going back to work, so it would be really challenging to get in 3 days a week or even 2 days a week. So basically my physical therapist said they'll let me kind of wean it down. They were going to do it anyway, so we kind of worked together on that plan. But they really made it an important point that I need to make sure I'm doing my exercises at home. So they said as long as I can do them at home, just do them on an absolute regular basis. Really try hard not to skip any, or make sure you're doing them correctly, that kind of thing. So they said as long as I promised to do that, that they would wean me down to 2 days a week and then quickly down to 1 day a week. So anyway, that's going well. I have to say it's getting harder and harder to fit in my physical therapy homework stuff. In the beginning, the first week and a half, it's really easy. I was home a lot. I'm in bed a lot. I was kind of like up and about, but I'd come back to the bed, do my exercises, and then get up and go do whatever I was going to do. So I had all the time in the world, and now it's like the opposite. I'm racing around, driving kids around, chauffeuring people around, and then anytime I do something, it takes forever because I'm on crutches. So I went to Home Depot the other day to grab something small, and by the time I got out of there, it took me twice as long as it normally would. So anyway, I really have to be conscious about making sure that some of my exercises I'm still doing 4 days a week. 4 times a day. 4 times a day, and I do them 5 days a week. So if I'm going to do that, I was trying to do them like 8 in the morning, and then noon, and then 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and then again right before bed. So those makes those afternoon times to do my exercises a little bit more challenging. All right, guys, that is going to do it. So there's your 2 tips on the Handicap placard and on the crutches. Look at that guy right there. And a little update on the physical therapy. Hey, I hope you're enjoying this. If you are enjoying these videos, help me out. Hit that like button for me, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.